You changed your habits, you improved your system, you removed what was breaking you, and yet you still return to the same version of yourself. Pause. That's not a failure of discipline. That's identity. Let me explain what is actually happening here. Because most men who find themselves in this position believe they have a discipline problem. They believe if they could just push a little harder, stay a little more consistent, build a slightly better routine, everything would click. Everything would hold. So they try again. They redesign the schedule. They wake up earlier. They remove the distractions. They tell themselves this time is different. And for a while, it is different. The momentum builds. The system works. You look at what you have constructed and you think, finally, I have figured it out. Then something happens. It doesn't have to be a catastrophe. Sometimes it is just a difficult week, a stressful conversation, a sleepless night, a moment where life applies just a little more pressure than usual, and you find yourself, almost without noticing, sliding back, not dramatically, not all at once, just quietly returning to where you were. You stop waking up early, you skip the habit, you go back to the behavior you said you were done with, you respond the same way you always have. And then comes the frustration, the specific kind of frustration that is worse than failing for the first time, because this is not your first time. You have done this before. You know what it feels like to rebuild. You know how long it takes, and you are doing it again. You sit with that feeling and you ask yourself the wrong question. You ask, what system do I need? When the real question is, who am I returning to? Here is where most men are misdiagnosed. And I use that word deliberately, misdiagnosed, because when you give the wrong treatment to the right problem, you do not heal. You just stay sick in a more organized way. The world tells you that you need better habits, better frameworks, better routines, more accountability, more discipline, and so you consume. You read the book, you watch the video, you download the app, you find the strategy. None of it is wrong. The habits are good. The framework is solid. The discipline is real. But none of it addresses what is actually underneath. Because here is what nobody tells you clearly enough. You cannot outperform the identity you return to. Read that again, slowly. You cannot outperform the identity you return to. Not with a better system. Not with more willpower. Not with a stricter schedule, not with higher motivation, because the system sits on top of the identity. And when the system is under pressure, it does not hold on its own. It collapses back to the level of what is underneath it. It collapses back to the default. And the default is not your habits. The default is you. Every man has a baseline, a version of himself that he automatically returns to when conditions become difficult, when stress arrives, when fatigue sets in, when emotion runs high, when he is not performing, not presenting, not trying, just existing. That baseline is his identity, not the version he is working toward, not the version he shows up as when the system is running smoothly, the version he returns to when it isn't. And this is the critical distinction that changes everything. Because most men are optimizing for performance. They are building the best possible version of their routines, assuming the ideal conditions. And then they are shocked, genuinely confused, when those routines collapse under non-ideal conditions. But the conditions are always going to become non-ideal. That is not a possibility. That is a guarantee. Life does not maintain ideal conditions. Life applies pressure. Life introduces chaos. Life gets hard in ways you did not schedule for. And when that happens, what do? You do not think about your system. You do not consult your framework. You do not reach for discipline. You automatically respond from your baseline identity. And if that baseline identity has not changed, if the man underneath the system is still the same man who built all the previous systems that collapsed, then the result will be the same. Not because you are weak, not because you lack potential, because you are returning to what you actually are. You are not acting like your old self. You are returning to it. There is a difference, and the difference matters enormously. Acting like your old self implies it is a performance, a temporary regression, a bad day. It implies that somewhere beneath that behavior is the new version of you, waiting to resurface. But returning to your old self means something different. It means the old self never left. It was simply covered by a system, and the moment the system was under enough pressure, what was beneath it became visible again. The system was correct. The identity was unchanged. That is the real problem. Now, I want to explain what identity actually means in this context, because the word gets used loosely. People talk about identity like it is a belief system or a philosophical position. It is not primarily. Identity at its operational level is your default decisions. It is what you choose without thinking. It is what you do when no one is watching. It is what comes out of you when something unexpected happens and you have no time to plan. Identity is automatic behavior. It is what happens without effort. Think about that. Not what you do when you are trying. What you do when you are not trying at all. That is who you are. That is your identity. And here is the painful part. Most people's identity was never intentionally constructed. It was absorbed from environment, from repetition, from what was modeled for them, from what was rewarded and what was punished when they were young, from the stories they told themselves to survive difficult seasons. That absorbed identity became the default. Stay with me. This is the part most people avoid seeing. And now they are adults. They are building systems. They are trying to live differently, but they are doing it on top of a foundation that was never examined, never questioned, never deliberately rebuilt. So the structure keeps falling, not because the structure is bad, because the foundation beneath it was never changed. This is why forcing behavior does not work long term. Trying harder does not work long term. You can sustain forced behavior for a season. You can push through on willpower for a defined period, but eventually the effort becomes unsustainable, and when the effort drops, the behavior drops with it. Because the behavior was never natural. It was never what felt normal. It was always something you were doing against the grain of your default. Real change is not trying harder. Real change is changing what feels normal. That is a completely different operation. It is slower. It is less dramatic. It does not feel like the motivational version of transformation. But it is the only version that actually holds. When what you are trying to build becomes what feels natural. When the discipline you are forcing becomes the behavior that does not require force. That is when you have actually changed, not before. So how do you get there? There are 3 steps, not motivational steps, structural steps. The first is identity exposure. Before you can change what you return to, you have to know precisely what you return to, not what you aspire to be, not what you are when you are performing at your best, what you default to under pressure. This requires brutal honesty. You have to look at the pattern without defending it. Where do you go when things get hard? What do you reach for? How do you respond when you are tired and stressed and no one is holding you accountable? What is the behavior? What is the belief underneath it? What does that behavior assume about who you are? That is your current identity. Exposed, not judged, just seen. You cannot rebuild a foundation you refuse to look at. The second step is identity interruption. Once you can see the pattern clearly, the work is to interrupt it at the moment it begins. Not after, not when you are deep inside it. At the first sign, because automatic behavior has a starting point. There's always a moment, usually very brief, where the pattern is beginning but has not yet taken over. The trigger arrives. The automatic response begins to activate. That is the window. In that window, you pause. Not forever. For a moment, long enough to make a conscious decision rather than an automatic one. The pause itself is the interruption, and the interruption, repeated enough times, begins to weaken the automatic response. It introduces a gap between stimulus and reaction, and in that gap is where change actually happens. This is not comfortable. It is not dramatic. It is not the transformation story people like to tell. It is small and repetitive and often tedious. But that is what actual reconstruction looks like. The third step is identity reinforcement. Every time you make the new choice, the decision that aligns with the identity you are building rather than the one you are leaving, you reinforce the new pattern. You make it more familiar. You make it more natural. Reinforcement is not celebration. It is not reward. It is simply repetition with awareness. You do the thing. You notice that you did the thing. You let that register as who you are becoming. Because identity is built by evidence. The stories you tell yourself about who you are come from the actions you take repeatedly. If you want to believe something different about yourself, you have to produce different evidence consistently over time, not dramatically, not all at once, repeatedly, until the new behavior becomes the default. Until it is what feels natural, until it is what happens without effort. That is the standard you are working toward. And here is the line I need you to carry with you. You don't become consistent by trying harder. You become consistent by becoming someone who doesn't need to try. That is not a motivational phrase. That is a structural description of what change actually looks like when it is complete. The goal is not to sustain effort indefinitely. The goal is to close the gap between effort and natural behavior until the effort is no longer required. When waking up early is just what you do, not something you fight yourself to do, you have changed. When honesty is automatic, not a decision you have to consciously make in the moment, you have changed. When your response to pressure is grounded rather than reactive, not because you remembered to be grounded, but because it is simply how you are, you have changed. That is what identity shift looks like in practice. It is not dramatic, it is quiet, but it is permanent. And until your identity changes, every system you build will eventually return to what you are, not because the system failed, not because you lacked effort, because the identity underneath the system was not updated. You are not behind because you built the wrong system. You are not behind because you lack the right strategy. You are behind because every structure you have placed on top of yourself has been sitting on an unchanged foundation, and the structure reflects the foundation whether you want it to or not. This is not an accusation. I am not standing here to condemn the effort you have put in. The effort is real. The intention is real. The desire to build something different is real, but desire does not override identity. Intention does not override identity. Even consistent effort does not override identity. If the identity is never directly addressed, you have to do the interior work, not the emotional version of it, not the processing your feelings version of it, the structural version, the deliberate examination of your default, the conscious interruption of the automatic, the patient, repetitive reinforcement reinforcement of a new standard. That is the work. And it is less exciting than building a new system. I understand that. There is nothing appealing about sitting with yourself and asking hard questions about what you actually default to. There's nothing glamorous about interrupting a pattern before it gets started. There is nothing immediately satisfying about reinforcing a new behavior one small choice at a time. But it is the only work that actually changes the foundation. Everything else is furniture. You can rearrange the furniture as many times as you want. You can bring in new furniture. You can remove the furniture that was causing problems. But if the structure of the house is unchanged, you're still living in the same house. You don't have a system problem anymore. You are still the same person inside it. That is the verdict. And I deliver it not to diminish you, but to redirect you. Because the moment you stop looking at the system as the problem and start looking at the identity underneath it, the work becomes precise. It becomes clear. You know exactly what you are dealing with. And what is clear can be changed. What is hidden cannot. So bring it into the light. Look at what you return to. Interrupt the automatic. Reinforce the new standard. Repeat until the new standard becomes normal. That is how a man changes. Not by motivation, not by inspiration, by structure, by doing the interior work with the same deliberateness he applies to every external system he builds. The soul is not separate from the work. The soul is the foundation of the work. And if the foundation is not addressed, nothing built on top of it will stand permanently. You already know this. You have felt it. Every time a system worked and then stopped working, you felt it. Every time you returned to a version of yourself you thought you had left behind, you felt it. That feeling is not weakness. That feeling is clarity. It is the pressure of reality showing you exactly where the real work needs to happen. Listen to it. Your soul is the blueprint. Your life is the construction. Shalom, my friend. Now let us build the life God designed for you.